Welcome back to Sports Overtime. High school football playoff pairings were announced tonight. Could this be the year? Grand Rapids Christian makes a run to Ford Field. Eagles watch the pairings show at BW3 tonight. Would they play East in the second straight week? No, they drew Kennewa Hills, although they could play East next week if both teams win.
Well, there wasn't a lot of surprise there. There was a prediction that's how it would be this week. So we're excited. We played Kennewa Hills the last couple of years, so ready to get it going and get back home and get excited, get preparing. And then obviously we're fortunate enough to get past them. Big matchup with the East in the second round. So every game, every week is important. So can't look past anybody at this point.
Well, here to help us break down the playoffs, the Division 1 through 8, Jeff Chaney from the Grand Rapids Press. And Jeff, we'll start with Division 1. Any of these teams on here, first let's look at these. West Ottawa is going to open against Rockford, and Grand Ledge travels to Grand Haven. Anybody in there you see that gives Rockford a problem?
I don't. Rockford got their wake-up call early, losing to Lowell in week 1, and they've overcome some injuries, and they just have been rolling since that week 1 loss to Lowell, and I think they've got a lot of confidence. Coach Munger, this is his 17th straight playoff appearance. He knows what he's doing in the second season, and that starts on Friday. Yeah,
they've made a few trips down to Detroit, haven't they? In Division 2, good win here, Forest Hill Central at Lowell, and the winner of that gets the winner of the Muskegon at Matawan game. Forest Hill Central, a team that could surprise a few people here, Jeff, and their only losses really against some of the best talent in West Michigan.
They've been on a playoff run since, because they started, I think, 1 and 3. Yeah. So they've been on a playoff run since week 4 or week 5, and so those kids are mentally tested. And they gave Lowell a game the first time they met. So, that's going to be an interesting matchup. But like, Coach Munger in Division 1, Coach Dean knows what he's doing in Division 2. He knows how to get his kids ready, and in that matchup, the Muskegon-Lowell game, if it comes to fruition, it could be an interesting game because those two have had some history.
We've seen some good ones. In Muskegon, one of those losses coming to Rockford just recently, again, that's a very talented Muskegon team. When you talk about athletes, oh my goodness. All right, now it gets really interesting in Division 3. A rematch, it's not the one we thought we might get, but Grand Rapids Christian will take on Kennewa Hills. Fruitport against East Grand Rapids, this Region 2, District 1. Are we going to see the rematch that everybody kind of was looking for? That game on Friday night.
It was an incredible high school football game. And then 2 games in a row at Memorial Field. Last year, 49-48 went to East. This time, 50-49 went to Christian. Sturzma's, Coach Sturzma and the Pioneers are going for their 6th straight Division 3 state championship. Incredible feat if they can make that. But Grand Rapids Christian, I think it was the perfect thing for them. I think it was a wake-up call. A little bit of a wake-up call. They got pushed. They haven't been pushed too much this year. They got pushed Friday, and I think that's going to be something that might catapult them to Ford Field.
Any chance either of these teams overlooks the opponent they play?
No. Well, Fruitport's got, a lot of history in the playoffs also, so I know Sturzma, he knows how to get his kids ready. I mean, it sounds like a broken record, but we have a lot of coaches with a lot of playoff experience. Yeah, so they know how to get these kids ready for the next 5 weeks. I know Coach Fellows isn't going to be overlooking Kennewa Hills. They've got a very big up front team. They've got Katwana Clark, the running back. And like you said, it's the playoffs. Anything can happen.
Yep. One loss, you're done now.
Exactly.
All right, Region 2, Division 2, and District 2 and Division 3. You've got Holland at Stevensville Lakeshore, St. Joe's at Zeeland East. This Holland team, have they kind of run out of gas, or do you think they kind of rediscover what they had earlier in the year?
I don't know because, they woke up everybody, or they raised everybody's eyebrows when they beat East Grand Rapids. Big win, 30-22 win. But Forest Hill Central handled them. Maybe they gave everybody the blueprint how to slow Corey Willis down, the quarterback, and slow that offense down. It's hard to say. They don't have a lot of tradition in the playoffs, but we'll see. They've got a pretty dynamic quarterback.
This is a Zeeland East team that's kind of flown under the radar. Had that early loss to Zeeland West, but they're a really talented bunch.
I wrote earlier in a column that I had, imagine if it was Zeeland, both schools were combined, because you have Zeeland West that's 8-0 and they're are 9-0, and then Zeeland East is 8-1. Can you imagine the athletes? They split the schools. They're 17-1. Zeeland East is physical, and that always helps in the playoffs because the weather's going to start getting bad.
Yep. All right, also from Division 3, Region 3, District 1, Hastings, Harper Creek, Sturgis, and Mason. In Division 4, we've got Whitehall at Sparta, Spring Lake, Comstock Park, Which of those teams do you think can be a dark horse and possibly make a good run here?
I like Comstock Park because I like quarterback Jake Brown. Last year, he helped throw the Panthers into the regional finals where they lost to an eventual state champ Catholic Central. This year, he's turned his game around. He's more of a running quarterback, but they're a high-powered offense. And when you get quarterback play, you get some defensive play, you can make it to Ford Field.
South Christian gets into the playoffs with 5 wins awaiting them. Zeeland West undefeated 9-0. Also Unity Christian at Catholic Central. I'm looking at that matchup in 2 weeks. Catholic Central, Zeeland West. That could be a classic.
Well, I covered Catholic Central and South Christian in week 8, and Zeeland West had a coach there scouting. So it looks like they had a feeling that this was going to come about. John Silto's running offense, that wing T, that's tough to stop.
Yes.
And then against Catholic Central and Coach Colster and his passing attack.
It's really tough to shoot. Our camera guys hate going to shoot the wing T teams. Plainwell's going to open against Edwardsburg, OTSEGO, and Paw Paw, an 8-1 team. That should be a great matchup. And also from Division 4, Vicksburg 6-2 against Battle Creek Penfield, 9-0. And that Penfield team, we've shot quite a bit this year. Another team you don't want to overlook. Division 5, Kelloggsville gets in, takes on Reed City. West Catholic going to open against Manistee at home. Also from Division 5, you got Parchment and Dowagiac. Dowagiac, a big win this last weekend. Hopkins has to travel to Berrien Springs. Hopkins got a nice late run this year. Yeah, they did. You know, the big game was a couple weeks ago when they beat Calvin Christian at Calvin Christian. And like, who were you saying, Forestville Central earlier, they had 3 early losses to some tough competition, including Hastings, including Sparta, and they've been on a playoff run pretty much since the middle of the regular season. That always bodes well. That does. You know, it gets the kids mentally tough. Yeah, you've had that pressure all along. Also now let's move on to Division 6, Morley Stanwood at Shelby. Also from Division 6, and that was Region 1, District 2. Region 2, District 1, North Point Christian in at 6-3. They get to open against Oak Ridge. Montague will take on Calvin Christian, 8-1. Also from Division 6, you got Hartford at Constantine. Cassopolis going to go out to Schoolcraft. In Division 7, Decatur at Watervliet. Gobles at Lawton. Also from Division 7, Ravenna gets in with 5 wins. And they'll take on Pewamo, Westphalia, a 9-0 team. Springport against Saranac. And then we'll move to Division 8, where it really gets interesting. This could be the most competitive bracket in the entire state. Region 3, District 1, Mendon, St. Joseph, Lake Michigan Catholic. Mendon 9-0, great team. Saugatuck 9-0, has to go on the road to take on Muskegon Catholic. How would you like to be Coach Bill Dunn? You make it to the state finals last year in Division 8. You go 9-0, you do everything you're supposed to do, and they're going to put you on the road at Muskegon Catholic. And if you win there, you're probably going to have to play at Mendon. that might be the toughest district road anybody's going to have to take. I will not argue that at all. Also, we've got Bellevue and Climax Scots from Division 8.